Good morning, everyone. I am Andrea Praver, your host for What's Up Ocala, and joining me this morning is Debbie Cowan. And
Hello.
Debbie, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone who you are, where you're from, and how they can get in touch with you?
I certainly will. Hey, I'm Debbie Cowan. I'm with Prime Lending, and the best way to get a hold of me always is my cell phone, which is 352-433-7846.
Perfect. So you are joining me this morning to talk to people about the Hometown Heroes program, right?
Yes, it's a great program.
It is. We were chatting about it quite a bit this morning. Go ahead and explain a little bit, in case you probably heard about the Hometown Heroes program, but not really what it is and what it does. So go ahead and give us the basics on it.
Yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, the Hometown Heroes program is a program that really honors our community heroes. And who are those community heroes? We're looking at our firefighters, our EMTs, our paramedics, our medical professionals, the nurses, doctors, and obviously as well as our law enforcement folks. And that is a program that's available to them for a first-time homebuyer program. And it allows them to borrow and receive a grant or a bond of up to $25,000. It's 5% of the purchase price. So whatever purchase price you're buying, we're going to give you a second mortgage, zero interest, fully amortized mortgage up to $25,000 to help cover your closing costs, your prepaids, and obviously some down payment money if you need it. So it's available for every product that we have: VA, FHA, USDA, conventional. Wow. And the one area that I didn't mention already, and that we talked about just a little bit ago as well, is our veterans. So it is available to our veterans as well, and they're the only folks that do not need to be a first-time home buyer. So, and they don't have to be active duty. They can be retired.
Oh, there's so much to impact there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many people that are going to be eligible to receive these funds. Mm-hmm. Because what we're looking to do, obviously, is increase home ownership amongst our heroes. And we want to be able to thank them and give them an opportunity to get into their first home as well.
Right. So I guess the first thing I would say is defined first-time home buyer, because I know that is a little bit different than maybe what people assume is a first-time home buyer.
So a first-time home buyer is anyone out there that has not owned a property in the last 3 years. So if you owned a home 5 years ago, you'll be considered a first-time home buyer. If you owned a property 2 years ago, you're going to need to wait a year in order to be eligible for one of these programs.
Okay. So what if,
and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
go for it.
So the veterans, that does not apply to them.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep,
that's good caveat there.
Yep.
Yeah, so they kind of seem like they're in their own special category.
They are. I mean, we honor our veterans, and at Prime Lending, that's our motto. We love our veterans, so we want to do everything we can to help them get into their next home or their first home.
Oh, that's awesome. That really is. Okay, so let's say that one spouse qualifies for the Hometown Heroes, but the other one, maybe they owned a home 2 years before and they sold it. So what happens with that situation?
So if we can qualify one of the applicants, whether it be the husband or wife, whoever did not own a home prior to, and they can qualify on their own, we're going to be able to do that for that person. So only one of them has to be a first-time home buyer.
That is awesome. Preferably the one that actually is
the one that can, and the one that can afford it.
Right. Yeah, that too. That too. Okay. So speaking of those that can afford it, one of the things that I hear so often is that teachers are severely underpaid, but teachers qualify for this. Educators qualify for this. Surprisingly, I didn't realize that daycare providers, owners also qualify
child
for
care
it.
workers. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right. And so when we think about our Hometown Heroes, we think about, again, this is a Florida-based product. It's not available in other states. It's only available here. But when we think about our Hometown Heroes, we think about the community leaders in our area that are, one, taking care of our kids, one, protecting us, from law enforcement, and then the caretakers that take care of us in the hospitals and tend to our needs and So those are who we look at as community heroes. And I mean, we want to open it up to people who truly have an opportunity to, they give, and we want to be able to give back to them.
Right. So I know for us in our family, we, our furry Bridget friend, basically, she was a family member for years and years. She passed away, and the staff over at UF, Shane's animal hospital, they were absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing. They qualify for this as well.
Yes, they do. Yep.
Wow.
So the veterinarians, the veterinarian assistants. So again, if you put into perspective what we're looking at self-serving people that serve our community and give to us on a daily basis, and whether it's our furry friends, whether it's just caretakers in general. I mean, and how they affect our kids' lives and things like that. I mean, we want to give them an option that they don't necessarily have to be a homeowner without this product.
And they have, this isn't the main loan. This is a secondary mortgage on this. So they could still use VA, USDA, FHA, etc. So if they're using USDA, that's not going to have a down payment required. Mm-hmm. So at that point, it would be closing costs, or they could go ahead and could they pay down?
There could be, they're going to look at what the actual cost of this is, because remember, this is a bond, this is a grant basically. So if the funds aren't needed for something specific, whether it be down payment, whether it be closing costs and prepaids, they're not going to want to necessarily give additional funds. But there is an exception to that, and they'll do a principal curtailment. So so they could buy down the mortgage with the remaining funds. So that helps them as well.
Right. Well, right now that's definitely something that would help out.
Yeah, of course.
Those rates going up are just driving everybody crazy. That's the talk of the town right now.
And speaking of rates, one of the things that we talked about earlier too is that on these programs, because they are state driven, they set the rates. So they could be a lower rate than what the actual market rate is today. So you may even get a benefit with the rate.
Wow, that would be phenomenal. That's really amazing. Okay, so one more time, how do people get in touch with you if they have questions, if they're not sure if they qualify, or because you have a list? So
I have a list. It's a long list, and they're adding to that list all the time.
Oh,
so
wow.
So they can call me. Again, my cell number is 352-433-7846. You can email me at debbie.cowan@primelending.com. Best thing to do is reach out if you're not sure. Don't assume you're not on the list. Let me check that, because if for some reason your profession doesn't allow you to be into that program, we have other bond assistant, down payment assistant programs available to you.
Okay, can you talk about the other programs? That would be phenomenal.
It's a Florida housing program. It's a bond, again, for first-time home buyers, and is not driven through what you do for a living. So it's available to anyone and everyone, as long as you qualify based on their requirements of debt ratios and credit scores, things like that.
Right. So is it the same amount?
It's a $10,000 bond. And so that we understand, when we talk about bond, these are mortgages. These are second mortgages. However, you do not have to make a payment on them. There's zero interest. The only way that they're repayable is after the 30th year, or if you should sell your home, refinance it, or transfer from being a primary residence to something else, and then it would become due in full. But up until the 30th year, you're not accruing any interest and you're not accruing any payments.
Okay, so that would differentiate both of those from, let's say, the SHIP program that a lot of people are familiar with, that we really haven't been using very much,
right?
Because of all the stipulations on
it,
really.
And really the market, the price of the home. So it's a totally different type of a program, and it does allow for even more funds than what, based on your family size, things like that. But it's limited, so the market values were, higher in the last couple of years than they've been in the past. You can still benefit from it. It just, whether or not you can find something that's going to be in that price point that they're
Right.
looking for.
Right. Well, this is, all of these programs, you still have to be in a pretty good position to purchase a home. Not everybody is in a position right now to purchase a home. But this is just kind of, helping out in case you weren't able to save up enough money for your down payment or save up enough for your closing costs. And rents are so expensive.
They're so high.
So high. So
And they're
it's
going
great.
up, and people who are renting right now, their rents are going up, and at the end of the day, you're going to have a mortgage payment or you're going to have a rent payment, and if they're pretty equal, it's kind of common sense that you would rather have your own home for that same money.
I have no fight in this at all because we do property management here, so we do great if you rent, and we also do sales, so we do great if you sell or purchase a home. For me to say this individually with absolutely, I don't care which one you do, it is by far much better to purchase a home for your family and you in the long run.
Yeah.
By far.
It's your largest asset. It's what's going to, hopefully appreciate and gain more asset value than a lot of other investments. So real estate's always a great asset to obtain because it's going to be your largest one.
Right. So one of the things that I've seen, I don't know if you guys have seen this on the news or not, but they are having, because of such a huge supply and demand issue with housing, we're still in a housing shortage. We're thousands of houses behind,
Right.
because we really don't have that many multifamily that had been built in the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
So we're still seeing that shortage. And we saw over in Orlando, they're trying to get rent control through, but honestly, it's a supply and demand issue. If you have more people purchasing a home and not needing to rent, and you have more supply than you have demand,
The rent will go down.
That's
There's
going to
your
do
rent
it.
control.
There you go. It's control.
Yep.
So having these programs come out to help somebody go, because it's hard to go from renting and paying these astronomical amounts for rent and then going in and purchasing a home.
It is.
It's hard to save up for it. So kudos to everyone that's doing this.
Thanking in general to the folks that take care of us every day. So this is, whether it's really the bond, the Florida Home Bond, or whether it's Hometown Heroes. But the Hometown Hero ones, we're just so proud to be able to provide this to the people who are so deserving of any assistance that they can get. And to one of your points too that you were bringing up, Andrea, is you do have to have some financial responsibility behind you. So the
Right.
things that they're looking at is, your credit history. So they want to make sure that you have a minimum score of 640 for any of these down payment assistance programs. So, that's not a excessively high credit score.
No, that's
so you
really,
don't have to be perfect.
No,
But
really
they
not.
want to see that you do manage your credit and that you do pay your bills. And then the other issue is a debt ratio requirement, which is in terms of what that means is your debt over your income. And so we want to make sure that you don't exceed 45%
Right.
of your gross income with the new house payment.
Right.
So we want to make sure that that we're not putting you into a program that's going to cause you to fail. So
Right.
they want to make sure that you're ready for home ownership, because there are things that come along with that. So one of them is the home responsibility and just being able to manage your credit, and hopefully be able to make sure that we're not putting you into a product that you won't be able to afford.
Wow, that's still awesome. And honestly, 640, if you're trying to rent right now with as competitive as it is, they're probably going to be looking for that or around there anyway. Plus with all of the, first month, last month, all of the fees that come with it, pet fees and all this other stuff, it's thousands of dollars. So honestly, with a program like this,
it could be cheaper.
It could be cheaper to purchase a home.
buy.
It's definitely going to be cheaper as far as the monthly payment, because I'm not joking. It is absolutely astronomical right now for rent.
Yeah.
So my heart goes out to everybody that is in that cycle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if we can do anything to help people to get out of that cycle and to purchase a home and have that stability for their family, and that savings, that's huge.
That's why we do what we do.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and take a real quick commercial break. And when we get back, we will talk about what is going on in the market and fun stuff to do this weekend.
Yay.
So we'll be right back with that. Okay, welcome back. I am joined here with Debbie Cowan of Prime Lending, and we are just discussing the Hometown Heroes program. Right now, we're going to talk about the Market Watch. It was kind of interesting this week to see what was going on the last 7 days in Marion County. So we were discussing, of course, new listings. We have 258 new listings. This is, again, residential. It is not commercial. It is not vacant land or anything like that. These are actually homes.
So people are still listing.
And they are still listing. They are still listing. In fact, they're listing more so than they were in past months. Because I was seeing more closer to like 199, 200, 220. And now we're up to 258. So more people are actually listing now than previously, which is interesting. Price increase, we had 25. Okay. And price decrease, we had 235. So we're still seeing that trend.
But that's a good thing for you guys out there that are buying. That's a really good thing.
Definitely. It was due. It was definitely due. So that price decrease of 235 is actually lower than what we had last week. Last week we were topping out, I think, at 330. Wow. So yeah, it has actually come down a bit. We might see that number change over this weekend, maybe going into Monday, but that's where we're at right now. Back on the market, 61. A lot of back on the market. Are you seeing a lot of back on the market issues?
You know, I don't know what would cause that, other than maybe just people that had gone off because maybe they were a little bit too high or something, and then now they go back in.
Maybe the roof issue. We've got roof issues.
That's true too. Yeah.
The roof issue right now in Florida is ridiculous.
Yes.
So it's definitely causing issues with the insurance. If you can't get insurance, you cannot get a loan.
No.
So that is a problem.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So we haven't seen a lot of roof issues going on, but sold 195. So things are still closing, which is great. We had pending 227. So people are still purchasing houses.
Wow, that's great.
In fact, almost as many houses being put into contract as are coming available. So we're not making a lot of headway as far as getting more houses on the market. We're still seeing that housing shortage. So kind of interesting. We're not going to really see a huge dip in those prices.
I think Marion County is going to stay strong. People want to live here.
Yeah, I think with all of the jobs that are coming in and are currently available, and more people moving to Marion County, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, and people want land, and they can get that here versus a lot of other cities in Florida.
It's definitely true. All right, real quick, we're going to take a commercial break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk about some fun stuff that you can do this weekend in Ocala. Stay tuned for that. Okay, welcome back. I am joined today by Debbie Cowan from Prime Lending, and we were having so much fun talking about the Hometown Heroes program. Debbie, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone how to get in touch with you in case they missed it and they want to hear more about the Florida
I would love to.
All of it.
Yep. Again, I'm Debbie Cowan with Prime Lending, and the best way to get me always is my cell phone, which is 352-433-7846. Here locally, you can always swing by and stop by. I'm right across the street from Great Expectations. So if you ever want to just swing by and sit down and chat, I'm happy to do that as well.
I have dragged many a customer over to your office. It's literally walking distance, so it's not like it's a huge trek. So, okay, so this weekend, today, we of course have the downtown market. So much fun over there. Have you been over there lately?
I have. I was just there yesterday. A lot of construction going on.
Really? Okay. Well, the downtown market is fantastic. We still have the splash pads open all over the county and right over by the downtown market. So it is still hot. We are not far into the Burr months. So those are my favorite months. It is still hot. So maybe if you have some kids with you, which it is very kid friendly there. They have a playground outside and stuff like that. But if you're thinking to cool them off, maybe have some lunch and then have them go and get soaked at the
splash pad.
The splash pad. It's a free entertainment. Kids love it, and there's some really great seating underneath the trees for us parents.
Yes.
So it's great. But that is going on until 2 o'clock at the downtown market, so you can pick up some goodies there. They've got fresh produce. They do have food trucks there if you just want to grab a real quick lunch. The Appleton Museum also, it's free Saturday. It's the first Saturday of the month, which means it is free to get in today, and they normally have all sorts of exhibits and exhibitors and all sorts of activities and stuff that you can do. So feel free to stop on out there. It's open from 10 a.m. today till 5, so you have plenty of time to get down there. We had today, it's going until 12 o'clock. We've got Brown's Junk in the Trunk. It's a really fun activity where basically people come up in their cars or trucks or vans or whatever, and they park in a spot back behind Brown's, and whatever is, stuff, yard sale, basically items from their house, they just go ahead and set it out on a table, and that is their stuff that they are selling. So it's basically a massive, massive yard sale. And then when it's done at noon, everybody just packs the stuff back into their car that wasn't sold, and away they go. So it's like super easy cleanup for a yard sale, which is probably the worst part of it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, though.
It is cool, right? So that is going on until noon. So if you want to get to that, you're going to have to hurry. But that's at 13940 North US Highway 301 in Oxford. So definitely check that out. Tonight over at the gallery on 8th Avenue, it's let's see, there we go, Scrib Scrap. My notes had slid over, sorry about that. But the Scrib Scrap is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. tonight. It's got art, music, food, and drink. And that is over at 1531 Northeast 8th Avenue. We also have the Ocala Shriners Rodeo, and that's tonight at 7:30. I believe the doors open at 5:30 on that. But it's over at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. It was going on last night. Tonight is the last night to do that. You can go ahead and get your tickets on Facebook for that. And that was some really cool stuff. Yes, absolutely. And then we're going to talk about two more things. That's it. 2 more things. One is over at the Paddock Mall, and that is actually going to be on the 27th of this month. And that's Marion Lifestyle Expo. So that is going to be free. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have lots of freebies and lots of giveaways, but it's actually up to 80 vendors. And what they're going to be doing is welcoming you to Ocala and sharing resources, vendors, if you want to know where to get a haircut, where to find a plumber. It's basically Angie's Life, but in Angie's List, but in real life. There we go.
Yeah.
So if you want to check that out, again, that is free, and that is going to be going on all day on the 27th. So I wanted to mention that. And for all of you hometown heroes out there, on the 9th, we are going to be over at Mojo's on 17th. And we're going to be there from 10 a.m. until noon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll see me and Debbie over there hanging out. We're actually going to be providing meals to hometown heroes. So come on up, pull up, and we're going to be giving giveaways and all sorts of stuff. So if you want to check that out, check on Facebook on Mojo's. They've got some really great information about that. So yes, you're going to have curbside service. You don't even have to get out of your car.
Are you going to wear skates?
No, I don't want to break myself or others.
Right.
I think I dent cars. I don't know. I'm good. I don't like hurt my Prius. But yeah, so that is going to be happening on September 9th. So hopefully you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for coming and joining me.
This is fun. So much fun.
Yes, absolutely. So thanks again for everyone listening out there, and we will see you next weekend. So thanks.
Have a great week.
You too. Bye.
Bye.